Hi guys, Nicky Price from travelcreateexplore.com, and today I wanted to give you 5 tips to improve your travel photos. So for the last couple of years I've taken every opportunity to travel around and photograph some of the world's best locations, and take it from me, there's nothing worse than getting to a location and not getting the photographs that you want to get. So here are some tips to maximise your success for taking good travel photos. Number 1, and probably the most important bit of advice that I could give, is plan your trip. Get on social media, see the location and see some of the photos that photographers that you like have already taken. I typically find myself going to 500px, filtering by the pulse filter to get the best photographs for that location, then picking out some of the best photos and spotting the location of where it might be. From there I then jot this location down on Google Maps with a star or a flag. That way I can easily find it when I actually get to the country or location later on. And the final app that I like to use for planning is PhotoPills. Now this app is an awesome app that enables me to see where the sun is going to be at that given location at a certain time of day. So I can see whether I'm going to have the sun directly pointing into my lens when I arrive or directly behind me. So you've planned out the locations that you're going to visit, you've worked out what time of day you're going to visit, you've got it all marked down in Google Maps. What about the equipment? Well, my second bit of advice is to try and take the minimal amount of equipment that you need. You don't want to be the guy that turns up with 2 camera bodies, multiple telephoto lenses, multiple prime lenses, 3 different tripods. It's far too many kilos of weight. Generally, what I like to stick to is just bringing my Alpha 7 with the 24 to 70mm lens, and this does me for most locations. If I'm going to a night shoot or somewhere that I know is not going to be a long walk from where I've parked up, then I can start thinking about taking other lenses. Typically I would just take my wide angle lens, a telephoto lens and a tripod and maybe a shutter release. Number 3 is take time with your composition. Now I've been guilty of this. You arrive to a new location and you're excited to shoot and you just completely forget to actually check your camera settings, check where your composition is, and you find that the shots are actually not that good. So the way that I like to look at photos is with foreground, midground and background. If you can get something interesting in each of these elements, then you should have an interesting photograph. I tried to do this at Osaka Castle in Japan, where you had the park in the foreground and the urban buildings in the background. If you have a low aperture lens like one of these, why not think about taking some shallow depth of field photographs? This is a great way to bring attention into a subject area, whether you're looking at portrait photography or macro photography. The other thing to think about when it comes to composition is leading lines. If you can get some lines moving through your photograph, this can be a way to add interest to the photo. Number 4 is try to be unique. Now obviously this is easier said than done, but a lot of my time is spent actually on websites looking at what other people have taken and thinking, how can I take this photograph differently? Sometimes it's just thinking about the fact that the majority of the people that visit the location are going to be taking the photograph at eye level, so you can try and get low down to the ground. I tried to do that in this shot in Japan, or you can try and get as high up as possible. This was my shot of Mount Fuji, where I actually hiked up through one of the forests to the back. One of the most difficult locations that I visited over the last year in terms of trying to be unique was probably Horseshoe Bend in the US. If you don't know this location, it's probably one of the most photographed locations in the world, and the way that I tried to go about getting a different type of photograph was staying well after dark and trying to get some stars in the night sky. Unfortunately it was a little bit cloudy, so I didn't quite get the shot that I wanted to get, but I was still relatively happy with it, and I was still ultimately trying to be unique with my shots. Number 5 is spend some time without your camera at these locations. Now obviously that's not a photography tip, but the number of times where I arrive at a location gets so ingrained in my camera, so ingrained in the camera settings and actually the action of taking a photograph, that I forget to enjoy the location and actually take a step back and enjoy the surroundings. So don't forget that. Take your time with the location and enjoy it as well. So hopefully that gives you a few tips to improve your travel photography. If you like the video, please hit that like button below. And if you've got any ways that you improved your travel photography, let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, a full link to the article on my website in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Thanks very much.